Hello everyone, this is World Exposure. I find it very ironic that only a few days after the horrific but very few news reports came out about the Pennsylvania abortion doctor Kermit Gosnell, that it was the 38th anniversary of Roe v. Wade. Well, Barack Obama proudly marked that day by saying, "Today marks the 38th anniversary of Roe v. Wade, the Supreme Court decision that protects women's health and reproductive freedom and affirms fundamental principle that government should not intrude on private family matters. I am committed to protecting this constitutional right. I also remain committed to policies, initiatives, and programs that help prevent unintended pregnancies, support pregnant women and mothers, encourage healthy relationships, and promote adoption." And on this anniversary, I hope that we will recommit ourselves to more broadly to ensuring that our daughters have the same rights, the same freedoms, and the same opportunities as our sons to fulfill their dreams. Well, Barack Obama says that legalized abortion helps protect women's health and reproductive freedom, and that government should not intrude on private family matters. Well, I know none of the news organizations are talking about this story about Dr. Kermit Gosnell, but maybe Barack Obama should read up on the very few stories that are posted on the internet about it, like Dr. Gosnell's patient Davida Johnson's story. You see, legalized abortion damaged Davida Johnson's and many other women's health and reproductive freedoms, and government should have intruded on this doctor's house of horror back in 1993 to stop the atrocities that he committed all the way until January 2011. Now, if you've not seen my original video on this, I would ask that you please watch it. It shows you how legalized abortion can help hide illegal, unsafe, botched abortions and cold-blooded murder as well. This video is about what Davida Johnson and other women went through. You see, Davida Johnson got an abortion from Dr. Gosnell back in 2001. She said when she got there that there were women just sitting there in a daze and blood-stained recliners. She then told Dr. Gosnell that she no longer wanted to go through with the abortion. He then slapped her and had his assistants tie her down and just give her more medication. A few months after she had the abortion at the age of 21, Johnson began to have gynecological problems, and it was determined that she had venereal disease. She has also had 4 miscarriages since then. When she recently found out that Dr. Gosnell killed babies after they were born, she now can't help but wonder if he did the same thing to her baby. Now, sadly, she will never know that because she was too heavily sedated at the time. Now, in the grand jury's 300-page report of Dr. Gosnell, it says that his entire practice showed nothing but a callous disdain for the lives of his patients. That doesn't sound like legalized abortion helps protect women's health and reproductive freedom like Barack Obama claims that it does. You see, Gosnell had many malpractice lawsuits against him since 1993. And in a case back in 1999, one 20-year-old woman was sent home after an abortion, not knowing that Dr. Gosnell wasn't able to remove the entire fetus from her uterus. And after a severe infection, a swollen abdomen, and vomiting, she was rushed into surgery. Now, when Gosnell found out about this situation, he showed up at the hospital to try to pay off the 20-year-old's mother. You see, Gosnell made millions from his business and was able to try to do this kind of thing. This mother, however, told Gosnell to leave. But when all was said and done, the family did receive $3,000 after lawyer fees from a $5,000 settlement. And in 2002, a 22-year-old actually died at the hospital of Cesspit after Gosnell perforated her uterus and cervix during an abortion. This was settled with the family for $900,000 and the understanding that they were aware of the risk. Now, the woman that was most recently killed with too much anesthesia ordered by Dr. Gosnell is the reason why this whole investigation finally opened up. You see, she was a refugee from Bhutan and survived 20 years at a refugee camp in Nepal after her 4-year-old daughter died of a deadly infection. Her family lawyer claims that her family came to the United States to pursue all that it has to offer. She does have living children that will now have to be raised without her. So then, does legalized abortion help protect women's health and reproductive freedom like Barack Obama claims that it does? Well, the grand jury says in their 300-page report about Gosnell that Gosnell perforated the uteruses, bowels, cervixes of countless patients. It says that he left fetal parts inside patients, ignored post-operative pain and bleeding, and passed venereal diseases from one patient to the next through bloody and dirty instruments. Well, it doesn't sound like legalized abortion helps protect women's health and reproductive freedom to me, and I can't help but ask myself how many more of these kinds of abortion clinics are out there in America being ignored by state regulators like this one was.